Mexico City. Here we are for round number 22 out of round 24 here in season number 6 of Bwoah Racing League. We are almost at the end of the season, 3 races to go, with this one being the first of the 3. Mexico City, a beautiful circuit, long pit straight over there. In real life, it's so easy to reach the top speeds that you can do in Monza with a high downforce setup because, well, there's higher altitude, there's less drag. That also brings about the challenge of balancing out between downforce and straight line speed in real life. But however, you can throw that out of the window here in the game, and well, we have 8 drivers on track, and we will see who has the best qualifying pace as we begin round number 22. And you can see there are multiple drivers getting ready to go out, and the first, as usual, is gonna be Signic of the Haas. Drivers and Constructors Championship updates. Here we go. Drivers, as we have known, Envy has pretty much sealed the Constructors sealed the Drivers Championship many races ago, and has been officially confirmed as the champion of Bwoah Racing League season number 6. But that does not mean the fight for P2 is over just yet. Big Man Joe is currently in the home run with 50 points gap to Signic in P3, and also to forgot who's in P4. So yeah, it's not over just yet in the Drivers Championship, and lower down in the order, the fight for P4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is still yet to be resolved, with over 100 points just left on the table with 3 races to go, including a sprint finale. It's anyone's guess who could become the runners-up in this season. Constructors though, it's not over just yet, and Envy, although he has carried Aston Martin all the way to P1 for now, it's still not over, with just over 200 points left for grabs in these 3 races. Anyone could be the Constructors Championship of season number 6. Leading the hunt will be Aston Martin, led by Envy, and today we have his, well, first ever teammate, you could say, Jimmy Pull-Up. Some say he's the fastest guy around, and possibly Envy beating kind of a person. Well, we'll have to find that out in the short qualifying and in the race, if he is indeed a new titan that has entered Bwoah Racing League season number 6. And as an honor to that, let's ride on board with him for his first ever lap here in Bwoah Racing League. Now, while he's starting his lap, let's finish up the update for the Constructors Championship. P2 is currently being held by Alfa Romeo. Oh well, my bad there. Is being held between Haas, Alfa Romeo, and McLaren. So it's not just done yet. With 200 points to go, anyone could be in the run for P1. You wouldn't expect a double DNF from the Aston Martins over here, but well, before even we got to a DNF, there is already someone spinning on the backs on the last sector, and that is Signic. Not a good start to his bid in order to help Haas to regain that points advantage they need to secure at least a P2 in the Constructors and even his own Drivers Championship. So he's out of the qualifying session already. Streeter, first one to come across the line on the hard tires, mind you, 19.1 or 17.1 by KDB, and that's already a good benchmark set out on track. Jimmy Pull-Up making his debut for Bwoah Racing League here into Sector 2, and his split time, well, doesn't seem to be that bad either. And across the final sector, the slowest part of the track, and on the exit here onto the pit straight, this looks like it's going to be pretty close to an 18. First lap, probably a confidence builder over there. 18 and well, 18.7, 18.8, not too bad either. Gouts makes it a McLaren 1-2 for the time being. Well, speaking of the champion himself, he's out on track doing some intermediate runs. So definitely I'm assuming he's saving some soft tires for the race. while at the same time building up confidence and possibly a little bit of last minute practice which might have been lacking on his end. Mr. Vex next to start his, well, the only guy left to set a lap time so far, apart from Signic, who has DNF in that same corner a few corners ago. Well, we're locking up a little bit there. Missing the apex, that's definitely going to lose him some time, and into sector 2. Double rights over here can be a potential overtaking opportunity if you run wide or you get the lines wrong. And into the X section, possibly the trickiest part of the entire circuit. And it's quite easy to bottom out on these curbs, and keeping it flat is a challenge in qualifying, let alone the race. End of sector 2, locking up a little bit into the stadium section, and this is where in real life they have the podium celebrations going on. This is looking quick from Mr. Vex. Chooses to take the line of least resistance, and that nets him the P2 for now, just under 2/10 of KDB's benchmark time of a 17.1. Wonder if anyone could break into the 16s, you know, maybe low 16, high 16s. Let's find out. And well, of course, excuse me for that little sneeze and a little bit horsey voice today. Been running on a, well, less than ideal throat settings today. And unfortunately, we don't have our co-commentator Sarthak along with us today, so this is gonna be a solo act here in the comms box. So folks in the chat, you are my co-commentator for today, and we have some bold predictions coming in with Gouts to bring out the first safety car in the race. Well, that's definitely a bold one. And Signic challenging Gouts, you know, possibly some friendly banter going on here in the chat. You know, I think that came a little early from you, Signic, considering your DNF in your first attempt. So good luck with that last to first challenge, Signic. Wish you all the best. There's only one place you can go from there. You can only go up unless you decide to DNF on the first lap. And here we are. Drivers have completed their first flying laps officially. Jimmy pull up. We are still waiting to see if this guy has any more pace to offer. Envy now finally on the soft tires on his outlap, about to set his first representative flying lap. Will we go into the 16s? Will we go into the 15s if he has that much pace to offer here in the Mexican Grand Prix? Let's find out from Envy as he goes into neutral there. I wonder if that's a little bit of fuel burning to keep the car light. Definitely a tactic that most drivers could utilize to gain that extra thousands in this lap. Now while I take a moment to take a breather or two, let you guys enjoy a hot lap from the Bwoah Racing League season number 6 champion Envy. Oh, just a little bit over the edge on the limit stand. Envy has invalidated the lap time. Let's see if he goes into the pits to abandon this run. Yes, indeed. But looking at the sector split times comparing to Mr. Vex, that is definitely looking like a lap times in the mid 16s at the very least. So there is more pace, more quicker lap times to come. Come the end of this session. 15 minutes of 18 minutes of short qualifying. Now we are down to the last 8 minutes. So over half of the session gone, with drivers yet to make a full run or two. KDB, who is running out on track for his out lap. Let's jump on to a challenger for today's possible pole position. Well, I say challenger, and I just noticed that Guts is running on the hard tires here, so possibly getting some last minute race practice. So I'm assuming he's okay with that 17.8 that he has set in his first attempt. Oh no, Streeter, oh no, round he goes into the stadium section. And that is gonna be a wasted attempt on his hot lap. A little bit too loose on the entry and loses his car. Mr. Vex, luckily, he is still on his cooldown lap. Not affected by that. And then let's watch from him if he can improve on his personal best to possibly take the provisional pole for today. Okay, with just over 2.5 tenths of an improvement, Mr. Vex is definitely looking like he's gonna take the provisional pole away from KDB right now. Now into the middle sector, this could once again make or break your lap time if you mess it up on the SS. Chooses not to go on the curb there, but then here you have to mount the curb and then on the exit, keep it tight and run down to the next sector. He has lost a little bit of time, lost about a tenth compared to his previous run here. Now into the stadium section, all about mechanical grip over here and throttle control. Seems to be a little bit more aggressive on the entry compared to his previous run, and running up to the line, chooses to take the same line that he did, 2 tenths up, and that is just 7,000 shy of KDB's provisional pole lap time. And now let's go on to KDB. Well, he's gone into the pits. And next up we have Big Man Joe, who we're just gonna ride on board with, has smashed the times out of the window with a 16.6. Wow, okay, cool. So there we go. First attempt and he's already up in provisional pole. Next up to challenge for his provisional pole will be the defending champion, the newly crowned champion, shall I say. And Envy, can he repeat his speed once again to take another pole here in season 6? We're about to find out shortly, as he is, well, kind of polluting the environment with that fuel burn, but let's ignore that as we are in the virtual world anyway. Ooh, aggressive there on the curbs on the entry. I wonder who taught him that. Misses the apex of turn 2 a little bit, and that might just lose him a little bit down the exit here. And onto the first sector, looks to be clean so far, and we'll have to compare with the split times from Big Man Joe if that's gonna be any improvement. We're looking at a 56.8 at the very least if he is to beat his previous delta in the middle sector here. Almost loses the car on the curbs here. On the edge, the car is definitely unhappy a little bit, but that is giving him the lap time he needs. Into the second sector split, this is a 56.8 and this is looking on point, on course for a pole position. And no, that's not how you do it. Envy, I might have just jinxed him a little too early. Fortunately, he still has 3 minutes to go for a final flying lap. So Envy here nerfing himself in some sorts, challenging himself to start at the back once again possibly. We'll find out if he wants to go for another lap. His teammate Jimmy Pull Up also pulls up into the pit lane. Mr. Vex now has retired from the session, so he is happy with his lap time over there. And now we can turn our attention to Streeter, who has been performing pretty decently and consistently in the past few races. Can he nab a pole position away from Big Man Joe for now? Let's find out. Oh, that doesn't look like it's gonna be contending for a pole position, but that might just get him further up the road than P6 for now. As we look into the middle sector split, it is 57.6, that's about 8 tenths off. That might put him in the regions of P4 right now, just ahead of Gulls if he nails this final sector. And we'll find out shortly as he rounds up the last corner around here, the last traction and the trickiest one. Nail this and you might get an overtaking opportunity down in turn 1 in the race. 1.8 seconds improvement. Streeter just goes 6 tenths off pace, 1 tenth behind Mr. Vex's best lap time. And there we go. P4 will be the best Streeter could afford for today. KDB and Gouts yet to make a lap time. Gouts still running out on track on hard tires, presumably going on with his race practice. Can he improve on his lap time with a set of hard tires? That will be interesting to find out. And let's turn our attention to those who are still running out on track. Big Man Joe invalidates his lap time. That will be the end of his run. Streeter in the middle sector. Well, he has done his lap time, so forgive me for that. Jimmy Pull Up in the middle sector, still yet to start his lap time, so we can turn our attention to Envy, the crowned champion of season 6, as we are once again served with a hot lap by him. KDB finds himself in an opportunistic position, sadly not close enough to benefit from a tow from the champion up in front. 2 champions out on track here across multiple seasons. Let's find out which of these champions can grab the pole position for today. $56.4, that's a quick one there. $57.0, so KDB is definitely not looking like in the hunt for a pole here. Envy runs a little bit deep into the last few corners here. That might just lose him some time. Can he be aggressive enough on the exit here to regain the lost time? Takes the shortest line, and there you go, 16.2. That is pole position for Envy. While we wait for KDB to cross the line, he does improve very marginally and takes P3 away from Mr. Vex, and that will be his best attempt. And now we turn our attention to the rookie, the debutant for today, 3 tenths up, Jimmy Pull Up. Can he improve any more to jump a position or 2 on his final attempt over here? And there you go, he has remained in P7 for now. Good showing from Jimmy. That will definitely help Aston Martin in their bid to secure the Constructors' Championship, possibly by the end of this race, if they can both score some points. Once again, NB showing who's boss here in Bwoah Racing League. 16.2 gives him the pole position in Mexican Grand Prix. Big Man Joe came close with a 16.6, 4 tenths off pace. KDB finally finding some pace at the end over there with a tenth and a half gap to P2. And as we wait to load into the next session, I'll leave you folks to wonder who will be possibly winning the race. Leave your predictions in the chat as I take a breather once again. Here we go, formation lap is underway. Sarthak's favorite part of the race, well, pre-race if anything, and he's gonna miss this one once again. Sadly for him, well, there's not gonna be a Mexican GP repeat towards the end of the season. And also, just a little message to our drivers out there. If you feel like crashing out and then you wanna hang out somewhere, feel free to join the comms box and watch over your rivals, hear from the comms box, and I'm pretty sure you will be entertained to watch from the other side. Well, that aside, we are back for some action, and what do I see over here? I see some soft tires, and that's surprisingly coming from the start and the back of the grid. Signaling and Envy up to something here. What are they cooking with those soft tires here on the start, while the rest of the field is on the hard tires? So something is definitely cooking, and I can't smell it since my nose is stuffed. Hopefully you can see what's going on, and this is gonna be an interesting race to behold. Okay, so conventional strategy of hard to mediums has been thrown out of the window for Signic and Envy over here. Possibly going for the two stops, soft medium medium, soft medium hards. It just opens up their opportunities and to respond to safety cars and VSCs at the right time. Backed up by pace, this might work out for them. Unfortunate events and whatnot might just set them back in terms of their progress in the race. There you go, tires are out of the way, and now let's get ready to go into the race. And this is gonna be one cracking of a start. Let's see how many positions can Signic gain on the start over here. I'd say he could get up to P2 if he's really clean with his start. Let's see if that it is indeed gonna be true, or are the drivers ahead of him gonna buckle down and defend hard against a quick approaching Haas on the softs. Oh, that is a Alfa Romeo on the track, trying aggressively to warm up his tires. Big man Joe finding it a little bit challenging, I must say. Stops right at his marker, and we next to join him, and we wait for the last man on the grid today, Signic, who, well, crashed on his first attempt. I have to rub it in, sorry Signic. There you go, hard mediums, soft medium mediums are the preferred strategies today. 5 lights are coming on, and we're waiting for them to go off, and they're away. 5 lights are off, and away we go. Signic gets a rocket ship start from the back up to P6, up to P5, now finding himself with a 3-man blockade up in front of him. Up to P4 he goes. Now can he keep it clean into turn 1? That is his priority. Is he gonna dive down the inside? Finds the middle of the track, goes down the inside of KDB. Now tries to navigate straight and sends him wide, and that is possibly a contention for the stewards at the end of the race. Finds himself in P2 already, even before the end of Sector 1. So great start with an asterisk over there for Sicknick. But now he is immediately being hunted down by Big Man Joe. Can Big Man Joe use his hard tires, keep up the pace in the middle sector and the last sector for at least the first 2 laps? And over the back of the grid, we see Streeter just slowly recovering back to, well, recovering back up into P8. He started somewhat higher, P7, P6, P4 maybe. And now he has to find his way back to the pack. Sicknick not really pulling away at the start here. Wonder if he's picked up some wing damage here. We'll only find out in a lap or 2 if he wants to pull into the pits. Envy setting the pace. 3.5 seconds is the gap he's pulled out in the first lap amid all the commotion caused by Sicknick going through the field. And there you go, we might have some action on track already. Mr. Wax now immediately on the back of Streeter. Oh, what has happened at the Streeter? Has he just given up at the end of first lap? No, that's not the way Streeter. I think he's had enough of today. And in the first lap itself, he's out of the race. And we are down to 7 runners for the day. And surprise, surprise, what do we have over here? A pair of McLarens getting in each other's way. This brings back some memories, some flashbacks to some races that we don't want to recall. KDB riding himself pretty close on the curbs to the back of his teammate's gearbox here. And it might just call for some swapperoo in a lap or 2, or even on the start of the next lap. Let's see if Gouts has the pace to pull his gap back up in close back up to P3 here as I fumble my words. Excuse me once again. Then Big Man Joe now starting to struggle a little bit here in the last 2 sectors, especially the 3rd sector where he's more mechanical than aerodynamic, and loses half a tenth there, half a second into Sicknick in the middle in the last sector. KDB and Gouts here going for the swapperoo, I presume, and that is going to be clean as ever you want. Into turn 1, KDB will take the inside line, goes ahead of his teammate, and Gouts nicely complies for once, and no shenanigans in the McLaren garage. I'm pretty sure they have learned from all their mishaps across the races that they've had before. Now let's monitor this gap between KDB and Big Man Joe as they try to close up the gap to the top 2 who are running on the softs. So if there's no safety cars of VSC early on, this might just be advantageous for the hard runners from P3 onwards. And that's a yellow in the middle sector on the S section, and that is Mr. Wax once again losing his composure here, and now he finds himself 7 seconds off the grid, and there will be a recovery drive that he will have to make if he has any pace to pull back up, close back up to P7, to P6 I was gonna say, as he gave me a little heart attack with the wiggle on the exit. Alright, as we watch on, gap seems to be stabilizing a little bit. Big Man Joe losing a tenth and a half in the last lap to KDB, but not necessarily too much. Big Man Joe himself is now finally catching up to Sicknick once again. Sector 1 and 2 is possibly where he's gaining all the time. Can he maintain the momentum through Sector 3? Looks like he is. Envy sets another fastest lap in the meantime, 19.9 coming from him. Big Man Joe across the line. That is going to be a 20.7, still about a second off pace compared to the soft runners, but crucially he's only lost 4 tenths to Siknik in this lap, so the gaps are pretty close for Big Man Joe to pull off a wonderful one stop here on the hard tires to the medium tires. He will have to go long. Envy and Siknik will have to play the quick catch-up game as they have to make their first pit stop in the first 7 or 8 laps to make sure they can go till the end on another set of tire. Mr. Vax, looks like he's found a little bit of pace on the recoveries. 5 tenths found on the last lap. God's losing more and more to his teammate in front. Now the gap has grown to 3.5 seconds. Jimmy pull up in making his debut once again for Aston Martin has found himself a little bit closer to Gods and that last lap. Not necessarily closing important just yet, but we see here Big Man Joe, can he get into the DRS of Siknik? This will help him tremendously on his attempt to close up to Envy as well. Loses a little bit once again in the final sector. So yeah, the soft tires are still having a little bit of grip advantage compared to the hard tires. And once again, as we look on the gaps here, it's not really growing that much. Big Man Joe again losing 4 tenths in that entire lap, all down to that last sector. So Siknik still keeping his composure here. He's still within the hunt. Well, excuse me while I fumbled that lap timers there. It looks like that was the fastest laps that each of them has done, not necessarily the gap that they were having to the drivers ahead. Big Man Joe once again now in the middle sector. He would love to close that gap down to 1 second in this fast as section where the soft tires might be losing a little bit of an edge. Indeed, that seems to be the case as Big Man Joe has closed up almost 4 tenths just through that complex of corners. Now into the final sector, this is where he's losing time. Can he get into the DRS once again? It's floating between 1 to 1.1, 1.2 seconds. Gets within DRS. Let's see if he gets it on the exit. This will be important. Oh, what's happened to Envy? That is a self-sabotage move, I will say. 5-second time penalty for him as he heads into the pit lane for his first of 2 pit stops. No safety cars or VSC to bail him out this time. So he will have to make a quick recovery drive. Will he come out in traffic? His teammate is ahead of him. Mr. Vex is quite a way behind. Big Man Joe, ooh, runs a little bit wide there. Naughty there. Flirting with the track limits, locking up here and there. Now KDB finds himself a little bit closer to Big Man Joe. Now these two will have to keep it clean for a lap or two before Siknik makes his pit stop and they could resume fighting. But at the same time, they have to remind themselves this is a battle against the soft runners, and fighting on track, Big Man Joe and KDB will not really be helpful if they are looking to win a race here. Squiggly is an understatement, I will say, as KDB finds himself within a second of Big Man Joe. Big Man Joe now has finally caught up to Siknik. He is losing so much time on the soft tires here. They are falling off the cliff. He will have to jump into the pits this lap. I'm very sure of it. And there you go, Siknik will go into the pits, taking it rather cautiously, as we can see on the side cam over there. Does not want to pick up a 5-second penalty. Envy has already pulled up to the rear of his teammate. So Jimmy, I'm pretty sure he will comply nicely and let his teammate through on the straights here. Wonderful, beautiful shot there. It almost seems like a formation between the Aston Martins heading down into turn 1. Medium tires on Siknik as well, so this is pretty much confirming the preferred strategy that they are going for. Soft mediums will be their choice for now, unless the safety car comes out anytime soon. They might be forced onto the hard tires later on. So yeah, they are running on an alternate strategy. They are going opposite of everyone else out on track. And we now 3 seconds the gap between him to Gouts, and this is looking like a quick drive. Can he get the gap back down and regain the lead in this lap? I'm pretty sure by lap 12 we'll find out if that is the case, and we might have just pulled off a superb strategy masterclass around here. 3 seconds now down to 2 seconds as he sets a purple middle sector, then now across the start finish straight. This is looking like it's going to be the fastest lap of the race, and it is by a second a second or more. And we'll have to turn our attention back to the front here as KDB is looking pretty close to Big Man Joe, but on the exit loses a little bit of time on the chicanes. Big Man Joe will keep his lead for now. Oh, now Gouts can see that green Aston Martin right on his gearbox very soon. The softer medium tires here giving Envy all the grip advantage he needs. Now in the middle sector, just watch out how Envy closes up the gap and being able to take tighter lines and more riskier lines with that fresher tires. 2/10 now down to almost up to almost 3/10 as he has to run a little bit of dirty air here. Now into the final sector, gets pretty close, takes a different line out of the dirty air, almost tapping Gouts on the exit. This is amazing to watch. Now I think this is going to be an easy move by Envy, and he's already side by side even before DRS is activated. That softer medium tires is giving him all the advantage he needs, and now we have a swap for the lead going on. KDB sending it down the inside, around the outside was it, and takes the lead away from Big Man Joe. Can he pull away is the question that we'll have to ask him in a lap or two. 1 second is all you need to be in DRS. It looks like KDB has the pace for now, pulled out 2 seconds gap in the first sector. Now middle sector is where he have to extract any pace if he has any left. Oh, mind you, Envy still has a 5-second penalty to serve, so effectively he's gonna be chasing that gap once he makes his second pit stop. And we look on here in the middle sector, Big Man Joe has a lot left in his battery reserves, 92%, 94 as he hits into this final braking zone, so he is all charged up, while KDB is running a little bit lower, less than half of that, and he will have to contend with Big Man Joe on the straight over here. Deploys a little bit on the exit. Big Man Joe, will he want to go for a move? Nah, he's not interested. Good old Big Man Joe, keeping it easy, keeping it calm, but look at that. DRS alone is helping him to gain back all the time on the straight, so this can be an easy move, can be a swapperoo back and forth between these two if they want to pull away from Envy, who has caught up another second in this lap alone. 8 seconds is the gap, 8.7. This might come down even more as they head down into the corners where this tire grip might become more of a factor. Let's see. Oh, Mr. Vax there. Oh, challenging Jimmy pull up into the middle sector here. Goes on the inside, takes that the first right to the corner and gets ahead of Jimmy pull up. So Mr. Vax doing some good job over here to recover up to P5 after that initial spin in lap number 2. Now 5.8 is his gap to Gouts, who himself has been falling off pace quite a bit, and he'll be looking to snap or snub that P4 away from Gouts in the coming laps. 5.5 now the gap, so Gouts is losing more and more pace as the lap is going on, as the stint is going on. It's a good opportunity for Mr. Vex to steal this P4 away from Gouts. Once again, Big Man Joe not really struggling in the dirty air, I must say. but at the same time he's not really being aggressive enough to make for the move and then pull away with that extra battery that he has in his reserve. KDB himself finding a little bit on the lower side of battery. He would like Big Manjo to overtake him, I'm assuming, so that he could get on with the recharging as soon as possible. 7 seconds is now the gap between NV to the next driver out on track, and that has only come down about a second in that last lap. So are the mediums starting to fall off a little bit and the Hata is retaining their life better than these mediums? Has NV gone onto the wrong strategy? This is interesting to watch if he can muster up any more pace from that medium tires here. Once again, now Big Manjo on the exit of the last corner, not close enough to make a move. 6 tenths only. KDB going defensive already to deny slipstream to Big Manjo. And even with that, Big Manjo has caught up almost 4 or 5 tenths. Wow, okay, that is a powerful DRS zone, but Big Manjo is just not interested to make the move right now. Okay, as we see now, Signig will be the next one to catch up to Mr. Vex. Is he going to send it down the inside? He is running low on battery, and side by side into the sector, into the next corner. Signig now finds himself ramming someone off for the second time in this race, and this time Mr. Vex will be the victim of it. The stewards will have a look at that, pretty sure of that, at the end of the race, and Mr. Vex will not be happy with that as he loses a position to Jimmy Pull-Up, and that is not going to be helpful in any way. Almost losing DRS there, Big Manjo to KDB, but with that DRS, as you can see, the gap from 1 second now, it's coming down super quick. 7 tenths, 6 tenths almost, 3.5 tenths, 4 tenths almost, the delta with DRS. And now is Big Manjo losing a bit of life on his hard tires, or is he just holding back, minding his gap, getting out of that dirty air, but at the same time keeping it close? NB is still pushing and he is getting back into the race. 5 seconds is his gap to Big Manjo, and he is low on battery as well, so he's used up quite a bit of it to get past some drivers and use that to his advantage to catch up to this top two. 5 seconds is the gap, as we can see here, to Big Manjo. Can he pull up any more pace from that Aston Martin? Big Manjo starting to lose touch here of KDB, and on the exit DRS is gonna be not with him, but he is using that battery to good advantage now to get back within touching distance. Now the folks in the chat, who do you think will be winning this race over here, as we have KDB and Big Manjo on similar strategies, on similar looking pace, possibly looking to fight each other. Now they don't seem to be interested in that. They might be fighting each other at the end. Are they going to win, or is it going to be Envy who is on that alternate strategy of soft mediums, and he will have to make his second stop, while these top two will have to make their one and only stop, which pit window is open right now if they want to take the mediums till the end. That would be an amazing undercut, but tire life at the end will be a premium. So top three, as you see, they are your race winning contenders here. Envy has a 5 second to his name. Leave it in the chat. Who do you think is going to be the winner come the end of the race? Is it KDB? Is it Big Manjo? Is it Envy who has to make another stop and a 5 second to serve? We're about to find out. Well, in about 21 laps or so. Still 21 laps too long for us to predict if anything can go south. And that is a yellow in sector 2, and that is once again Mr. Wax losing it on the exit of the double right-handers at the start of sector 2. and he is now 5-6 seconds behind Jimmy Pula once again. So all that progress that he made to make his positions back up to P5, and he has lost it after that incident with Siknik, and now he's losing even more time on these all hard tires. Will he call it a day to dump these hard tires and go onto the mediums? Let's see if he wants to pull into the pit lane this lap. And now he decides to continue for another lap. Up ahead, oh, Big Man Joe. Oh, we thought he was going to go for a move. Once again, still deciding to hold back for a lap or two. This may come down to the pit stops to resolve who is going to be taking the provisional lead out on track. Envy now, his gap has stabilized to 5 seconds as we've seen the entire lap. So these medium tires, though they were quick at the start, they are not really giving him the advantage that he needs in the middle part of the race. So the hard tires, despite their slow start, are retaining their edge, are retaining their pace and consistency throughout the first 16 laps of this race. Oh, that is a big snap there from KDB, who tried to get away from Big Man Joe's DRS, but in doing so, he has found himself within attacking distance now from Big Man Joe. Will he go for the move, or will he stay patient for another lap as Envy's pace is starting to diminish? His advantage on that alternate strategy on that softer medium tires is diminishing. Will these two now sense the opportunity that they are free to battle it out? Not big enough is the answer. The gap is not big enough, it's not small enough for Big Manja to make a dive on the inside. And I'm pretty sure these two champions would not want to waste time against the crown champion who is chasing them still. Found a second though. He's found a second. NB has found one whole second in the first sector, thanks to a little mishap from Big Man Joe here, but now losing a bit of time here and there on the entry and exits of corners. So I wonder if those medium tires will not be holding up any longer here. Once again, KDB running wide on the entry of that last complex of corners. Big Man Joe, this might just be the invitation he needs to go for a move. KDB already sensing that he might get overtaken, deploys a bit of battery on the exit. Big Man Joe, once again, not interested to make a move. Mr. Wax becomes the first guy, the first driver of today to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Big Man Joe staying behind one more time, one more lap, and that is only losing him more and more time to NB, who is once again finding some more lap time. Or is KDB slowing down and losing edge on his hard tire? So Big Man Joe, this is imperative. This is high time that he goes for a move into the middle sector here. Now you can see Big Man Joe closing up the gap to KDB more and more now on the exit here. Big Man Joe, can he stay close in this middle sector and then in the last sector through the stadium section make a move down into turn 1? Oh, he looks close. He looks close. I think Big Man Joe will want to go for this move here. Still 6 tenths off. This is doable, but Big Man Joe once again not showing the enthusiasm he wants to overtake. Wants to stay behind KDB, but for how long? You have enough battery here, Big Man. With Envy, they're getting ever so much closer. Envy might just pull off the undercut of the world, even with that 5-second penalty, and possibly with some superior race pace at the end. You might not know. These top two, while they are not being decisive enough, might be jumped by Envy. Oh, there's a move there. There's a move coming in. Siknik down the inside of Gouts into turn 2 and 3. Now gets the exit right, and with those softer tires here, although they are aging similar to Envy's, now gets a move done on Gouts once again. So Gouts still running on those old hard tires here. We'll have to make a pit stop pretty soon. Sicknick will have to make a pit stop of his own, so these two are not done battling just yet. I sense a move here. I sense a move coming in from Big Man Joe. He's ever so much closer to KDB on the exit. 6/10 though, still losing a little bit of time on the exit. Has a wiggle, has a little bit of a moment on the exit. Now that is going to rule him out of the move immediately already. But look at that, Envy now only 1.6 seconds away from Big Man Joe. This is turning into a 3-horse race with Envy's 5-second penalty still looming. And looks like, am I right to say, he just lifted off into turn 1, and as you can see, his fuel meter is blinking. Envy might have just underfueled this race, and he is a little bit under the weather here, I'm assuming, in terms of managing his fuel. Big Man Joe is also low on fuel. Is that why he's not going for the move just yet? Is he fuel saving right now? Is he sandbagging? Envy, though he would like to sandbag, he has a 5-second to his name, has a gap to close up, has some fuel to manage, so this is not turning out to be exactly the race he wants. Still 17 laps to go, including a partial lap of this. He could still recover this, and yeah, there you go, he is lifting heavily into the middle sector. So Envy, he has the pace, he just does not have the fuel to do it just yet. Okay, KDB pulls into the pits, so there you go, an undercut attempt from KDB to pull away, and Big Man Joe now knows this is the lap he has to pull off the O-cut, deploys a little bit of his battery on the straight here, so he will possibly respond to that in a lap, but he has fuel issues to contend with himself. So KDB, as it seems right now, he has pulled off the undercut. He's going to be facing Sicknick on the exit. This is going to be pretty close. Sicknick, can he get past? He's low on battery. KDB, while he's on cold medium tires here, can Sicknick find a way around this McLaren? Seems like this is not gonna be a way for him. On the exit though, oh yes, he does find the grip. He does find the grip. Side by side they are into turn 3 now, coming out of that straight. KDB on the inside. No, he loses the position to Sicknick, who is still going strong on this all medium tires. Will this affect KDB's undercut attempt on Big Man Joe? As we see, rounding up the last sector here in the stadium section, NB is losing touch to Big Man Joe. Half a second almost lost there, and Big Man Joe, I'm pretty sure he would love to respond to this undercut right now. And there you go, into the pits he goes, and knocking the poor fallout out of the way. Big Man Joe into the pits, clean and dandy there, nice and dandy, and into the pits once again. Well, not once again, for the first time in his race, Big Man Joe will make his one and only pit stop. Envy retakes the lead of the race with a pit stop to make, so he will be running long just for a little longer. As we see on the pit straight, KDB has his tires all warmed up, gets a juice, all the DRS juice that he needs to make a pass on Sicknick. Will he make the move? No. Big Man Joe, he has pulled off an overcut of dreams here, and there you go, retains the P2 for now. Now he does not have any fuel issues anymore. Well, it is coming on and off, so he might be clean to go till the end from here. Sicknick now holding up KDB here. That is possibly for race position as well. But yeah, Sicknick still has to make a pit stop, so he is effectively a pit stop behind. No point racing too hard here, but there you go, showing us how it's done. Old tires versus new tires. KDB around the outside will have the superior grip and the advantage on under traction. Forced wide a little bit there by Sicknick. Nevertheless, retakes P3, and into the middle sector he will go. 2 seconds is the gap he has lost to Big Man Joe. Sicknick there finding himself a little bit in trouble there with those old hard tires, medium tires. KDB lets him go, and unfortunately picks up a 5-second penalty in doing so. So sportsmanship being trumped by the poor game decision there. Unfortunate for KDB now, who has a 5-second penalty to his name. And just to compound the matter, Sicknick now pulls into the pit lane to make his second and final pit stop. KDB will not be happy with that, as he has lost 5 seconds to Big Man Joe. Now, assuming that 5 second that KDB picked up will be removed at the end, KDB will somehow have to find 5 seconds in his own race pace to catch up to Big Man Joe. Envy in the meantime still running strong out there on 16 lap all hard tires. Is he going for another set of mediums at the end, or is he gonna go for a longer stint on these mediums, take the pain now and go for a set of softs towards the last 10-12 laps? This is gonna be pretty close. Oh no, looks like it is going to be mediums for Envy, and performing that 2 laps overcut on Big Man Joe, 1 lap overcut on KDB, and he's going to be having the freshest medium tires out on track. There you go, 5-second time penalty he will have to serve. This will bring him pretty close on the exit to KDB. Will he be able to jump him on the exit? Now as he exits the pit lane, Big Man Joe will retake the lead of the race once again. 18.4, fastest lap coming in from KDB, showing that he has the pace to contend with the race leaders here. 3.7 now is his gap to Big Man Joe. So this is gonna close up into a top 3 battle. Anyone could win it. Big Man Joe seems to be having the advantage right now in terms of track position and gap to P2. KDB showing some pace over there, and with similar batteries to go till the end, and assuming that 5 seconds gets removed, KDB will be looking for a on-track win at the very least. And we on the freshest set of medium tires compared to the front two. Will take a lap or two to warm up these cold medium tires. Finds himself almost 5 seconds off the race with 7 seconds, 8 seconds as the gap grows. So that is how much Envy needs to close up. 1 second a lap is what he needs to find in order to get past these two and retake the lead and the win on track. And the battle ensues once again between Gauts and Sicknick. Gauts, who performed the undercut onto the medium tires 2 laps earlier to Sicknick, still finds himself behind for about 2.5 seconds here, and Mr. Vex similarly aged tires right behind him and closing the gap, so he still has a chance to steal that P5 away from Gauts. Alright, it's getting to the boring part of the race. Once again, I will ask the same question. Who do you think will be winning the race? Now that the pit stops has been resolved, KDB taking some liberties with the track limits over there. I'm pretty sure he does not want to repeat that more than once. Big Man Joe with the advantage of track position. 3.2 seconds is the gap between him and KDB. KDB having a 5-second penalty, which will be contended at the end if the stewards will remove that. So for now, KDB is still in the hunt to win it out on track before penalties are decided. Envy on the freshest medium tires, 2 laps younger than Big Man Joe's tires. Let me correct myself, that is 3 laps younger than KDB's tires, 2 laps younger than Big Man Joe's tires. So will his pace advantage come back at the end? He had to serve a 5-second penalty. Now this is going to be a 6-second gap that he will 7-second gap that he will have to make up in the remaining 10.5 laps if he wants to win this race. So it's not over just yet. KDB found another half a second there in that previous lap, now cuts the gap down to 2.8 seconds. purple middle sector from Envy. This is looking good as he has found about a second, half a second to KDB. At the same time, KDB has found about a half a second to Big Man Joe as well. And look at that, 18.4 fastest lap. That just trumps KDB's fastest lap just by, well, just under 300ths. Okay, so that is good pace shown there by Envy on his fresh medium tires. 3 laps younger than KDB's tires, so the pace advantage might have come earlier than he expected. And monitoring the gaps, it is starting to close up. So KDB is catching up to Big Man Joe. Envy is catching up to the pair as well. This is still looking like a 3-man fight towards the end. And soon enough, as you might have seen there, all the 3 of them are in the same straight, so it is getting closer. So they are motivated probably to push that extra hard in certain corners just to make up the gap. But will that force them into a mistake? 2.4 is the gap respectively between the 3 drivers, and it is getting closer. Middle sector seems to be where they are all equal. Final sector is where KDB seems to be a bit stronger here. Now on the exit, definitely nails it a bit better than Big Man Joe did, as he finds about a 10th on the exit here. Well, saying that, he might not be having the fastest straight line speed out of the 3 here, as he's been losing a bit of time on the straights here, and corners might just be the place he's taking his advantage. And yeah, look at that, gaining on the entry but losing on the exit once again. Has Big Man Joe finally settled into a rhythm and found his pace once again? Envy seems to be getting quicker as the laps go, as the tires retain the advantage. Now he's down to 2.2, only the gap. KDB runs wide once again, picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles by running wide, and that is going to be trouble for KDB, as that might just rule him out of the race winning contention over here. And Envy might just see this as an opportunity to get past KDB in the coming laps. 1.7 second is their gap, and it is coming down rather quickly, as KDB has not found any time to Big Man Joe in this lap. Oh, Jimmy pull up now with a 3-second time penalty of his own. Not exactly the way you'll want to end your first race, but nevertheless, not giving up is definitely a way to go, showing that he still wants to continue till the end. Every position is awarded a point here in Bwoah Racing League. If you're interested to join, hit us up in the Discord, or leave a message here in the chat, and we'll guide you through how to join up. And we continue to the battle out on track here, and we now finds himself within a second of KDB. Benefits from DRS in this short middle sector straight into the last sector. Can he get any more closer? Runs a bit deep on the entry, but regains the composure on the exit here. KDB seems to be settling down once again, has found about half a second to Big Man Joe. Still, it is still not over for the win out on track here, but any more time penalties from either Envy or Big Man Joe might just turn the tables around. Big Man Joe now keeping the 2.3 second advantage, expecting these two to battle it out, might just regain some time there. Envy on the exit, will he go for a move? This is looking pretty close. He's getting close, looks to the outside, looks for the inside. No, KDB just defends his line just in time to deny Envy the position. Now Envy on the exit could not find the grip that he needs. Takes a wider line on the entry. Can he get KDB on the exit? This short straight. Oh, he just might. Maybe into the middle sector here, as KDB loses a bit of his composure here. and then now is forced to be a little bit more tentative and push the corners a bit more as he's coming under attack from Envy. But no, Dirty Air saves the day for KDB as Envy has to back off just a bit to keep his gap. A little bit wide there from Envy on the last corner, loses a bit of time there to KDB, who himself has lost over half a second once again. So it's still going back and forth. Big Benjo keeping it cool, keeping it clean out in front with more and more laps ticking down. This is turning into an advantage for Big Benjo to claim his victory here in the Mexican GP. Into turn 1, KDB now finds himself under attack from Envy, who is going to nail the exit. Looks like KDB does it much cleaner this time around. Envy does not have the same advantage that he had in the previous lap, and looks like this is going to be another stalemate of a lap. Envy is looking for avenues to get past KDB in the middle sector. Loses a bit of the back end in that Dirty Air, finding it difficult to nail the traction here. Now into the middle sector has KDB found his composure for the nth time in this race. Now that seems to be an issue here with Envy, as he is still a little bit low on fuel here. That red fuel meter, as you can see on that telemetry on the bottom right there, that indicates Envy is still running low on fuel. How low is he running out? We can't know for now for sure, but there you go. Makes a move, takes the slipstream, takes the DRS, now pulls back into the racing line, and into turn 1 Envy will take P2 out on track with 2.6 second gap to chase down Big Benjo 2.5, make it 2.4 possibly on the exit. Loses a bit on the exit, gets DRS once again, and now he will hunt down Big Benjo for the race win. Big Benjo, no fuel issues, no tire issues. He will just have to keep it clean till the end and he might win it. Envy now with the purple sector and in sector 1, thanks to the double DRS that he's gained from KDB, has pulled out almost 1 second of gap to to KDB in P3. Now it's finding about half a second. Wow, that's a lot of time that he has found in the middle sector here. Fuel is still an issue for Envy. Now 1.9, just under to 1.8. As you can see, the gap is starting to come down. Is Big Benjo aware of Envy's fuel situation? Is Big Benjo aware that Envy, is quicker and might just get past him and recover fuel at the end? I don't know. 2/10 quicker than his previous personal best, 18.2 with the DRS, so there is still plenty of pace left in that Aston Martin. 1.7 now. Can he get into the DRS as we watch on board with Envy once again into turn 1, locks up a bit, not gonna help his lap time there. KDB still staying within 1 second here, found himself safely within the DRS range, still could benefit from a mishap from the front too. What a sight indeed. 3 champions of Bwoah Racing League in their own manner. They've done it countless times across the season. Envy winning season 5 and season 6 in a row, and KDB, well, I don't know how many times they've won it, once or twice or thrice. Big Benjo, champion himself. 3 of them converging on each other, and this is looking like a spicy last 3 laps. Still out of DRS range. Big Benjo keeping it clean in sector 2 and 3. Now still has an advantage of 1.2 seconds. Envy has a disadvantage with that fuel that he needs to manage till the end of the race. Mr. Vex all the way back in P6 has finally caught up a bit more to Gouts, but he is having a bit of trouble with track limits today, and 6 second off. A 6 second time penalty will not be enough for him to make a move on Gouts either way. as we enter to the middle sector of lap number 34. 2.5 laps to go. Top 3 are converging on each other, KDB being towed along by Envy, Envy himself catching up to Big Man Joe in this final part of sector 2, and with that 3 lap younger medium tires that Envy is on, he's found himself within DRS range of Big Man Joe, and look at that. Fuel is still an issue for Envy, so this is going to be the deciding factor. Will Envy have enough fuel by the end of the race? Big Man Joe gets a big snap on the exit of that stadium section that will, I'm guessing, grunt DRS to Envy. No, yes, well, I have to correct myself twice there, as the telemetry is a little bit delayed here. Envy with DRS. Now, is he going to make the move immediately on Big Man Joe? Big Man Joe goes defensive into turn 1. Envy around the outside. Can he go completely around the outside? No, gets the inside line for turn 2 and 3. And gets a little bit of tap there. He's forced to lift off and loses the advantage once again. And KDB now suddenly finds himself within attacking range to Big Man Joe out on track. So top 3 have converged. Amid a little bit closer than you would expect. With a lap and a half to go, Big Man Joe retains his lead. But for how long? He is running low on battery. So is KDB. So is Envy. Envy with fuel issues to manage. Is that a spin that I saw? No, that's just a car going sideways probably. Envy with fuel issues to contend. KDB with time penalties to contend. Big Man Joe seems to be the clearest favorite here to win it out on track here today. This is going to be exciting. 3 drivers within a second, covered within a second, and onto the pit straight here. DRS will be available for KDB and Envy to attack Big Man Joe. Who is going to be the one to jump the gun? KDB is already on it. He knows this is the last opportunity for him to get this out on track. Big Man Joe is running low on battery. Now goes defensive into turn 1. KDB with the advantage around the outside. But no, not enough. But goes to the outside of turn 1. Gets a little tap there. Now Envy finds himself within attacking distance. Both of them will have DRS on Big Man Joe. Now who is going to be braver under the brakes? KDB goes for the move on the inside. Big Man Joe goes around the outside, which will tilt into the inside in this double rides. Oh, Big Man Joe. Not a spin. Not a spin. And no, it is a spin for Big Man Joe. Losing his composure there. And that is not the way he would love to end his lap. Running low on fuel himself now, so that might be a troubling sign for him. Envy is still low on fuel. KDB also low on fuel. So this is looking like a, well, I don't know, anticlimactic end in some sorts. But will KDB finish with enough fuel? We're going to find out as he rounds up the stadium section. He will be crossing the line to win this out on track, but with unfortunate 8-second penalties to his name. KDB will drop down. Envy has lost fuel. Envy is slow. KDB now wins it out on track. Envy will jump him thanks to the time penalties. Big Man Joe, can he get close enough? And it's only 6/10 away from KDB's time after those penalties. My oh my. That is one way to end the race. Now, oops, my apologies there. Now Sicknick, as we've unfortunately tapped out at the wrong moment, Sicknick finds himself finishing the race here in P4, and Gouts will be crossing the line to finish in P5, 10 seconds off Sicknick there in P4. Mr. Vex, valiant effort there, running low on fuel as well. So a lot of drivers here managing the fuel, and across the line he will slowly come home to finish in P6. There you go. Jimmy pull up on his debut race for Bwoah Racing League here in round number 22, Mexican GP. Valiant effort from him. Seems to be blinking on fuel as well, but he will cross the line to finish without any fuel issues. Well done. And would you look at that, driver of the day goes to KDB, who has won it out on track with a 3-second penalty for track limits and a further 5-second which will be contested at the end. Might just hand him the race win after the after this too. Let's have a look at it. But for now, for the end time in Bwoah Racing League, we have Envy, the race winner in Mexican Grand Prix. KDB will come home in P2 after those 2 penalties worth 8 seconds. Big Man Joe getting a little bit unfortunate with some collisions there in the middle sector. Lost his composure for a moment and is going to finish in P3 for now. And there you have it, folks. Round number 23 is over, and I'm thankful that Sarthak will be here with us next week for the penultimate round in Abu Dhabi, followed by the finale the week after in Brazil, which is going to be also featuring a sprint race. And well, while the game has decided to kick us out of the lobby much sooner than expected, we will not be able to see the final standings. There you go, folks. It might have been a snooze fest today, but thank you once again for tuning in for Bwoah Racing League, and we will be back next week with the penultimate round at Abu Dhabi. Will be round number 23 out of 24. Still a few more championship positions yet to be resolved due to points being super close, championship points and whatnot, penalties to be applied in post race. We will keep you updated as we head into the last 2 rounds of the season. Till then,